Hey there, everyone. So I want to make sure I kind of recapped what's going on tomorrow in my absence. It's my daughter's first field trip and at the zoo, and I couldn't miss out on my daughter's first field trip, especially when they're saying, "Hey, it'd be great if we can get parents chaperones." So that's where I'll be tomorrow. Now that being said, students are tasked with an assignment that they can get done within the class period with relative ease. It's the So all the classes actually have this periods 1 and 3, 4 and 5, and they've been assigned a task called the Big One-Page Project. So basically, they're getting a big sticky note, and they've been given roles such as visual designer, researcher, editor. So make sure that's spelled correctly. Like if I give you the country name, probably should be spelled correctly because it's spelled correctly on the card, as well as the textbook. Probably need to get this locked in a little bit. The idea of editing, because next week, for my honors class at least, you'll start writing your essays. So, good practice to make sure we're spelling correctly. Never hurts to read through it a second time. So, editors, you get that joy of doing that. And also make it a little visually appealing. So, before I left school this evening, I actually made an example for you that's taped on the bottom of the new line board. So you don't have to put as much detail into it. This is what I like to do. You could call it extra, you can call it passionate. I go with the latter, but that's just me. So there's a section there that I took on. I took the biggest section of the text for you, the Central Africa one, where it talks about what happened with the Hutus and the Tutsis. And oh man, it's bizarre. We might try to kind of cap that off with a movie if I could find it. It's called Hotel Rwanda. It's actually quite astounding as to what had happened during that history. So we'll consider it. But we do got to wrap up next week with Remember the Titans and kind of show how, despite our differences, we can still find ways to come together. And what better way to do that than football, especially after the Chiefs beat the Eagles? I hope. Anyways, so next week, the only difference between the honors classes as well as the regular classes is the honors classes should have the resources assimilated, or assimilated is not the right one, at least kind of organized or put together or available. And that should be pretty easily located. Letter to Birmingham jail, you should have that. You should also have that article about Nelson Mandela. You should have that in hand. I do have a few copies. I don't have 10 to give out, so make sure you have the copies I have issued you already. You should have access to the Job scriptures we covered, as well as access to the imprisonment letters or the prison letters from Paul, Ephesians, Philippians. Got to correct that spelling. Oops. As well as Colossians. Those are the pretty well documented resources we have where Paul had written those letters in prison. I cannot believe I spelled that wrong. Anyways, practicing the way discussions as well. Have access to those because we're going to synthesize those sources into an essay, and you get to choose one of the several prompts in human suffering and what do we do with it in a biblical worldview understanding and how we discuss it, because this is a very real discussion that you will more than likely wonder about, or at the very least, or in most circumstances, have a conversation about. So how do we navigate that? And you have your pretty poor examples from Job's buddies or Job's bros. With that, maybe you were like me and you said something with good intentions, but fumbled, like really fumbled, like hopefully the Eagles will do. And with that being said, you can kind of start curating a response to that. Now, it's not an English class, but it is an essay, so it comes in some expectations from honors class, like, hey, you should be able to write a multi-paragraph essay. And this is one of the only essays I'm going to have you write like this year. So good experience, good practice, and good way for me to see what can you do with a myriad of sources and how do you synthesize it. And how can you do this and how can we be better at what we're doing. We'll hold writing conferences throughout the week and honors classes. We will, of course, finish Remember Titans next week too, because you gotta see it all come together, right? So that being said, I hope you have a wonderful weekend and get what you need done tomorrow. So please don't come into class like, oh, we don't know what to do. Yeah, you do. You're smart. You know this. So make sure we're good to go. And Monday we'll hit the ground running again, and it's going to be a good time. All right. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'm not a Chiefs fan, but man, can't have the Eagles win, y'all. Can't have Ohio State and the Eagles win the Super Bowl in the same year. I mean, I'm going to hide in a rock. It's a sports rock, but, you know. All right. Love you guys. Bye.